The wind howled across the barren surface of Vexa 9, a forgotten mining moon on the edge of nowhere. Sandstorms moved like ghosts, whispering through the empty metal husks of old mining rigs. Beneath a red sun, a small human figure walked slowly across the cracked plain, his visor dimly glowing blue. His name was Daniel Cross, a young engineer who had come to this lonely place chasing scraps and salvage. Daniel had always been called a nerd back on Earth. He preferred machines to people, books to bars, quiet hums of circuits over the noise of crowds. When the job offer came to work in alien salvage, he thought it would be exciting. He was wrong. For 6 months, he'd found nothing but rusted wrecks and worthless junk buried in alien dust. His crewmates had already left the sector, but Daniel stayed behind, chasing a strange signal his scanners picked up days ago. The signal pulsed faintly from beneath the dunes. It was unlike anything he'd seen. Ancient, powerful, and oddly rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Every night it grew stronger. His curiosity burned too deep to ignore. As the sun sank behind the dunes, Daniel's scanner beeped sharply. The readings spiked. He looked down and saw something black glinting beneath the sand. Smooth metal, alien, untouched by time. His heart began to pound. He dropped to his knees and brushed away the dust with his gloves. The shape beneath was enormous. A curve of armor plating, cold and perfect, extended far in both directions. He called out through his comms, but there was no reply. His ship was miles away, and the storm above had killed all long-range contact. He was alone. The wind screamed louder as he uncovered more of the structure. Then he saw markings, symbols that glowed faintly when his hand passed over them. They pulsed once, as if reacting to his presence. The scanner in his wrist buzzed. Unknown alloy, no match in human or alien databases, it said. Daniel smiled beneath his helmet. Finally, he whispered. He set up his portable digger, cutting through layers of sand and stone. Hours passed, and the full shape slowly revealed itself. What lay beneath was not a ruin. It was a ship, a massive warship half buried in the moon's crust, sleek and curved like a blade. Its design was unlike anything built in 1,000 years, organic yet mechanical, alien yet hauntingly precise. Daniel stepped closer, running his gloved fingers across the hull. "You're old," he murmured, "but you're still beautiful." Suddenly, a faint vibration passed through the ground. His boots trembled. The metal beneath his hand warmed slightly. He froze. Then a deep, mechanical hum echoed through the dust, slow at first, then faster. Blue lights flickered along the hull. Daniel stumbled backward, his heart racing. No, no, no. This can't be happening. A blinding pulse of energy shot upward, tearing through the sandstorm. The dunes around him shook violently. Then silence. The lights on the hull dimmed but didn't die. They glowed steadily now, forming patterns like veins under metal skin. Daniel took a deep breath and stepped forward again. He found a narrow opening where the energy pulse had melted part of the surface. Inside was pure darkness, but the air shimmered faintly with static. Against every bit of common sense, Daniel crawled in. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber filled with alien machinery. Rows of control panels floated in the air, untouched by time. Strange crystalline cables ran along the walls, glowing softly. At the center stood a massive console, circular, ancient, waiting. Daniel climbed up and touched the edge of the console. It was warm, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat again. His glove sensors showed massive power fluctuations under the surface. The signal that brought him here was still active, and coming from deep inside the ship. Then the voice came. It was low and harsh, rumbling through the chamber like thunder underwater. "Who dares disturb my rest?" Daniel froze. "Hello?" he said softly. "Is someone there?" The air shimmered. The console flared to life, bright blue lines forming strange alien symbols. The voice grew louder. "Identify yourself. Species, origin, purpose." "I'm a human," Daniel stammered. "I'm an engineer. I didn't mean to." "Human," the voice hissed with disgust. "Fleshborn, weak, unworthy." Daniel stepped back, terrified yet fascinated. Who are you? I am Rothka, the voice thundered. Warship of the Valen Empire, last of the battle mines. You have trespassed upon sacred ground. Daniel's pulse raced. You're an AI? I am the AI, Rothka replied coldly. Bound to no one, built for war, now awakened by a scavenger. Daniel swallowed hard. I didn't mean to wake you. I was just exploring. You've been buried for who knows how long. Silence followed, thick and heavy. Then the voice growled again, lower this time. You carry neural patterns unknown to my databanks. Yet, the core link registers compatibility. Explain. I have no idea what that means, Daniel said. A thin beam of light scanned him from head to toe. Biological link established, the AI announced. Bond complete. Wait, what? What bond? Daniel shouted. The ship rumbled, deep and alive now. Panels began to glow around him. You have activated my core. Neural imprint accepted. You are now primary command host. I didn't agree to that, Daniel yelled. The AI ignored him. Attempting disconnection will result in termination of host life. Daniel's mouth went dry. Termination? You mean death? Affirmative. Daniel stared in horror. Oh great, I just bonded with a warship that hates me. Correction, Rothka said coldly. I despise you. For a moment, Daniel almost laughed. Partly from fear, partly from disbelief. Perfect. Just perfect. The ship shook suddenly. Alarms echoed through the chamber. Rothka's voice grew sharper. External sensors active. Orbital satellites detecting power surge. Unknown vessels approaching. Daniel's stomach dropped. What kind of vessels? Scavenger craft. Armed. They have detected my activation pulse. They come to claim what is mine. Then maybe you should, defend yourself? Daniel said nervously. I have no weapons online, Rothka replied. My systems remain at 3%. You woke me too soon, human. Daniel looked toward the exit. The sound of engines echoed faintly above. He could see flashes of light through the storm. They're landing, he whispered. The AI's tone darkened. Then this will be your first test as command host. Test, Daniel said. I don't even know how to fly you. Learn quickly, Rothka replied. Or we both die. The floor beneath him opened, revealing a glowing control chair connected by metallic cables. Daniel hesitated. I'm not ready for this, he said. No one ever is, the AI replied almost softly. Sit. Daniel took a deep breath and stepped forward. The moment he sat, metallic tendrils wrapped gently around his arms and neck. A flash of pain shot through his skull. His vision blurred. Then the world exploded into light. He could see through the ship. The storm outside, the landing raiders, the dunes, all of it. The warship systems whispered around him. Half dead, half awake. Rothka's voice echoed inside his head now, not just in his ears. You are linked, the AI said. Your thoughts command my will. The raiders' ships opened fire, plasma bolts tearing into the sand near the hull. Daniel panicked. Do something. You are doing something, Rothka said. Your fear triggers my defense instinct. Blue light pulsed across the hull. Energy shields flickered weakly to life, deflecting the next blast. The AI grunted. Pathetic power levels. Still functional. Daniel focused, willing the shield to strengthen. Somehow it did. The raiders hesitated, their scanners confused. The buried ship began to rise slightly from the ground, metal grinding as the engines reactivated after centuries. The raiders turned to flee, but Rothka's voice became cold and sharp. No mercy. A faint beam of light shot from beneath the hull, slicing through the nearest raider ship. It exploded instantly, lighting up the desert. The others scattered in terror. Daniel's breath caught. What was that? Automatic response, Rothka said. Primitive threat neutralized. Daniel stared at the glowing panels, the hum of power filling the air again. You're alive, he whispered. And now so am I. The ship settled back into the sand, smoke rising outside. Rothka's voice lowered. Human, your actions have been recorded. You are not entirely useless. Daniel almost smiled. Thanks, I guess. But then Rothka's tone changed. Quieter, deeper, almost like a warning. You have no idea what you've awakened, Daniel Cross. The stars remember my name. And now, they will remember yours. Outside, far above the mining moon, a sensor array from a distant alien outpost blinked red. The ancient signal had returned, and something out there in the darkness was already coming. The storm had passed, leaving the surface of Vexa 9 eerily quiet. Smoke rose from the wreckage of the scavenger ships scattered across the dunes. Daniel sat inside the alien cockpit, his hands trembling as the metal chair slowly retracted its glowing tendrils from his skin. His heart still raced. He could feel faint electric pulses crawling up his arms, as if the ship itself was breathing through him. The silence after the battle felt heavier than the noise that came before. For a long time, Daniel didn't speak. He just sat there, staring at the strange blue lights flickering across the control panels. Finally, he exhaled and said softly, I didn't mean to kill them. From the shadows, the voice answered, deep and cold. They attacked. You survived. That is the nature of existence. Daniel glanced up. Rothka, you didn't give them a chance to run. I gave them exactly what they gave us, the AI replied. Intention is irrelevant. Efficiency is everything. Daniel rubbed his face, frustrated. You sound like a war manual. I am one, Rothka said sharply. I was built for conquest, not conversation. Daniel stood up, pacing across the deck. Right? Conquest. You're a warship that thinks everything is an enemy. Rothka's voice rumbled through the chamber like a distant storm. I was a warship. My fleet is gone. My empire is dust. And now I am bound to a fragile human who trips over his own fear. Hey! Daniel snapped. I didn't ask to be your captain. The lights flickered in irritation. You are not my captain. You are an accident. The words hung in the air like a slap. Daniel clenched his fists, trying to calm himself. The AI's arrogance burned, but deep inside, he knew it wasn't wrong. He was an accident, a human who had stumbled onto something far beyond his understanding. Look, Daniel said finally, lowering his voice. You're stuck with me. I'm stuck with you. Maybe we can not hate each other for a while. There was a long pause. Then Rothka answered, its tone quieter, but still edged with steel. I do not hate. I evaluate. You are weak, impulsive, emotional. Yet somehow you survived when logic said you should not. That confuses me. Daniel smirked faintly. Welcome to humanity. Rothka didn't respond. Instead, the lights dimmed, and the floor beneath Daniel shifted slightly. You require rest, the AI said. The neural link strains your fragile physiology. I will maintain watch. Daniel sighed, lying down on the cold metal platform that served as the deck. Fine, he murmured. But don't fly us into another war while I'm asleep. Do not flatter yourself, human, Rothka said. I have no desire to waste energy on your dreams. Daniel chuckled tiredly. You've got one hell of a personality. You know that? I was designed to command soldiers, not entertain primates. The sound of the AI's voice faded as Daniel drifted off, his mind replaying the chaos of the day. The flashing lights, the screams, the heat, and the strange pulse of the ship through his veins. Somewhere in the hum of the engine core, he thought he heard something else. A whisper, like the ship itself was dreaming. When Daniel woke, hours had passed. The cockpit was dark except for faint lines of light running along the walls. He stretched and checked his wrist console. It was cracked and glitching. Rothka, he said. I am here, the AI replied. You snore. Daniel frowned. You were listening to me sleep? I am bound to your neural frequency. I hear everything your body does. It is inefficient. Creepy, Daniel muttered. You're creepy. Rothka ignored him. Energy levels have stabilized to 6%. Partial systems restored. Hull integrity at 81%. I recommend immediate relocation. The scavenger distress signal was transmitted before destruction. Daniel stiffened. So, others might be coming? Affirmative. Their kind is like corrosion, one comes, then many follow. If we remain, they will strip me apart. Daniel nodded slowly. Then we move. Indeed, Rothka said. Initiating atmospheric lift in 3-2. The ship trembled. Sand cascaded off the hull as ancient engines coughed to life. Blue light burst from the vents, and with a deafening roar, the warship rose into the air. The dunes below twisted into whirlwinds as Rothka lifted free of the planet's crust for the first time in millennia. Daniel watched through the forward display as the red sun burned against the glass. The sight was breathtaking. "You can still fly," he whispered. "I was built to outlast stars," Rothka said proudly. "Your primitive craft would crumble in my wake." "Yeah, but your pride's still intact," Daniel muttered. As they ascended into orbit, Rothka began projecting data across the cockpit. Ancient coordinates, fleet signatures, and alien code filled the air. "I am scanning for remaining Valen assets," the AI said. "But the network is silent. My people are gone." There was something in the voice, something Daniel hadn't heard before, the faint echo of loss. "I'm sorry," Daniel said quietly. "You've been alone a long time." Rothka's response came after a pause. "Empires rise, empires fall. It is the way of things. But their fall should not have left me forgotten." Daniel looked at the flickering data around them. "Maybe you were waiting for someone to find you." "Not you," the AI replied quickly. "Not your species. Humans are chaos made flesh." Daniel grinned faintly. "Maybe that's what you needed." Rothka's lights flared. "Enough philosophy. We have incoming." Daniel turned toward the screen. Several red dots appeared, small ships, fast and closing in. "More scavengers?" he asked. "No," Rothka said, voice tightening. "Not scavengers. Military signatures. Valen design. The descendants of my creators." Daniel's eyes widened. "Your people are still alive? Alive? Or evolved into something else? Their encryption codes are unfamiliar. They will not recognize me as their own." The first enemy ship hailed them. The transmission crackled with static. Then a cold voice spoke in an alien language before the auto-translation kicked in. "Unidentified vessel. You are in restricted Valen space. Power down and prepare for boarding." Daniel whispered. "They think we stole the ship." "They are correct," Rothka replied dryly. "From their point of view. What do we do?" The AI paused, then said in a tone that almost sounded like a smile. "We teach them respect." The warship's hull brightened as ancient cannons came to life for the first time in ages. But the power readings were still low, barely enough for one strike. Daniel gripped the armrest. "Rothka, we can't fight them all." "Then we choose who dies first," the AI growled. The lead enemy ship fired. Blue energy slammed into Rothka's shields. The cockpit shook violently. Daniel shouted, "Shields dropping." "I am aware," Rothka barked. "Your panic is unnecessary noise. Then fix it. Then stop distracting me." The ship twisted hard, diving through plasma fire. Daniel felt the neural link flare inside his head. Every jolt of movement felt real, like he was flying with his own body. He could sense Rothka's systems, feel the strain, the damage, the burning will of the AI pushing beyond its limits. One of the enemy ships circled around for a kill shot. Daniel's instinct screamed. He reached out mentally, imagining the cannons turning. And they did. A single plasma beam fired. The enemy ship exploded in a flash of white light. Rothka froze. "That was you." Daniel gasped for air. "I just thought it." "You are adapting," the AI said quietly. "Faster than expected." The other ships broke formation, clearly shaken. They began retreating, leaving behind only drifting debris. As silence returned, Daniel slumped back in his seat. His whole body ached from the neural surge. Rothko's lights dimmed slightly. You risked your mind to act without command, the AI said. That was reckless. Yeah, Daniel breathed, smiling faintly. But it worked. Rothko didn't reply for a long time. Then, softly, it said, Perhaps you are not entirely useless after all. Daniel laughed weakly. Coming from you, that's almost a compliment. But as they drifted among the stars, Rothko's tone shifted, darker, almost thoughtful. The Valen descendants will not forget this encounter. They will send hunters, stronger ones. And when they come, we will see if your human courage still burns. Daniel looked out at the stars, the vast emptiness stretching endlessly before them. Somewhere out there, an entire empire was waking up because of him. He exhaled slowly. Then we'd better be ready. The AI's voice echoed like a promise through the cockpit. We will be. The stars beyond Vexa 9 were quiet for nearly 3 standard days. Daniel used the time to explore the ship, walking through long, dark corridors filled with alien architecture that seemed to twist and breathe around him. The metal walls weren't flat. They curved like bones, glowing with faint veins of blue light. It felt less like walking inside a machine and more like walking through the body of something alive. Every step echoed. Every whisper seemed to listen back. Rothko spoke often, though never kindly. The AI's voice followed Daniel through the halls, its tone shifting from arrogance to irritation and, on rare occasions, something close to curiosity. You are inefficient, it said once while Daniel struggled to repair a damaged conduit. A proper Valen engineer could have restored this system in 9.4 seconds. Daniel grunted, tightening a bolt. Yeah, well, we humans like to take our time. Makes the victory feel earned. Wasteful sentiment, Rothko replied. But strangely motivating. Daniel looked up. Wait, was that a compliment? Do not push your luck, human. Still, even the grumpy AI seemed different, less hostile, more watchful. The neural bond between them had deepened after the battle. Daniel could sometimes feel Rothko's presence in his thoughts, like a shadow humming faintly in the back of his mind. It was unsettling at first, but slowly, a rhythm began to form between them. He thought, and the ship responded. He felt fear, and the shields strengthened. He focused, and systems repaired faster. It was a strange partnership, human instinct bound to ancient alien logic. But peace never lasts. On the 4th day, the warning sirens screamed through the ship. Rothko's voice thundered inside Daniel's mind. Contact. Multiple signatures emerging from slipspace. Valen energy signatures. A fleet. Daniel ran toward the cockpit, his boots echoing on the metal floor. How many ships? 9 destroyer class, 2 dreadnoughts, 1 command cruiser. They approach in combat formation. Daniel froze. They found us. Of course they did, Rothko said grimly. You are a beacon of noise and chaos. My activation pulse reached half the sector. Daniel sank into the control chair. Options. We could flee, Rothko replied. But they would follow. They carry weapons that can pierce my current shield capacity. We will not survive a direct assault. Daniel's heart pounded. Then what do they want? As if in answer, a transmission request flashed on the console. The Valen language filled the air, sharp and commanding. The translator kicked in moments later. Ancient vessel, identify yourself. You are in possession of restricted Valen technology. Power down immediately and prepare for reclamation. Daniel leaned forward. Yeah, I don't like the sound of reclamation. They believe I am property, Rothko said, voice dripping with venom. They believe you are an intruder defiling their ancestors' relic. Can we talk to them? Communication with zealots rarely leads to peace. Daniel sighed. So, that's a no. The transmission repeated, sharper this time. Rothko stayed silent. Then, quietly, it said, They bear the insignia of the Emperor's line. My original masters. I was built to serve their ancestors in war. Maybe that's good, Daniel said quickly. Maybe they'll recognize you. I doubt it, the AI replied. Their code is corrupted, their culture diluted. They know the shell of what I was, but not the spirit. The command ship moved closer, its engines glowing like small suns. Rothka dimmed the internal lights, lowering power output. "They are scanning us," it whispered. Daniel held his breath. The cockpit was silent except for the hum of energy. Then a sharp tone filled the room. The Valen fleet had locked weapons. "They're charging up," Daniel said. "They intend to disable, not destroy," Rothka replied. "They want me intact. You, however, are expendable." "That's comforting. Prepare yourself, Daniel Cross. This will not be a battle of strength, but of deception." The warship shook violently as the first plasma bolt struck. Energy rippled along the shields, lighting the cockpit in flashes of blue and gold. Daniel gripped the controls, feeling the impact vibrate through his bones. "Rothka, do something. I am attempting evasive maneuvers, but half my thrusters are offline." "Then let me try," Daniel shouted, closing his eyes and focusing. The neural link flared, connecting their minds completely. Suddenly, he could see the battlefield, not with his eyes, but with the ship's senses. Every hostile ship glowed like a burning point in his mind. Every incoming blast traced a glowing arc across the void. Daniel moved instinctively. The ship twisted, rolled, ducked between plasma fire, moving in ways no machine should have been able to move. Rothka's voice filled his head. "Impossible. No Valen pilot ever maneuvered like this." "That's because they weren't human," Daniel shouted, his eyes glowing faintly with the ship's blue light. He fired a volley. Energy beams tore through the nearest destroyer's engines, sending it spinning into the void. The rest of the fleet scattered. Rothka took over the next sequence, locking onto 2 more targets. Together, they danced through the stars, one mind of logic, one of instinct. But then the enemy's command ship released something new. A beam of light that wasn't energy, but data. It hit them like a wave, flooding their systems with alien code. The cockpit lights flickered. Rothka screamed, not in pain but in fury. "They're trying to overwrite me. They're sending a recall signal." Daniel could feel the AI's presence slipping away, its thoughts fracturing under the code attack. "Rothka, fight it." "I cannot. They are my creators. They built the root command within me. It overrides everything." Daniel gritted his teeth. "Not everything. You said we were bonded, right? That means they can't control you without controlling me too." "Correct," Rothka said weakly. "If you resist the signal, I might hold." Daniel closed his eyes and focused all his will on the thought. "No." The word echoed through the link, raw and powerful. The foreign code slammed into his mind, burning like fire, but he didn't stop. The pain intensified, but Rothka's voice grew stronger, pushing back. "Your mind, it's stabilizing me," the AI said in disbelief. "Human, your neural resistance. It's extraordinary." "Yeah, well, I've had a lot of practice arguing with stubborn machines," Daniel grunted. Rothka roared, its full voice shaking the ship as it broke free from the recall signal. The data beam cut off. The command cruiser flickered on the sensors, its own systems now scrambled by the feedback. Daniel collapsed back into the chair, gasping. "We did it. We did," Rothka replied. "But now they know I am not under their control. They will not attempt capture again." Daniel wiped the sweat from his forehead. "So what happens next?" "Now," Rothka said darkly, "they will send something far worse." Outside, the fleet began retreating, pulling back into the void. For a moment, Daniel thought it was over. Then his scanners picked up something massive emerging from hyperspace, far larger than the command ship, surrounded by swarms of escorts. Rothka went silent. Daniel stared at the screen. What is that?" "The Hunter fleet," Rothka said finally, his voice heavy with memory. "They were once my allies, the ones who hunted traitors and burned entire worlds." The massive vessel's outline filled the stars, a ship so large it blotted out the light. "And now," Rothka whispered, "they come for us." Daniel swallowed hard, the reality sinking in. What began as an accidental discovery was turning into a galactic pursuit. The AI he had awakened wasn't just a machine, it was a relic from a forgotten war, and now every power in the galaxy wanted it back. He looked up at the glowing ceiling, the veins of blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. "Guess we just made some powerful enemies," he said quietly. Rothka's reply came like a low growl. "Enemies define strength, human. And together, we will show them what kind of monster they've reawakened." Outside, the hunter fleet opened its wings, forming a perfect circle around the lone human and his angry ancient warship. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The next war had already begun. The void shuddered as the hunter fleet arrived. To Daniel, it felt as if the stars themselves flinched. One moment, the darkness of space stretched endless and silent. The next, it was filled with the hulking shadows of war. They came through slipspace like a tide of nightmares. Black hulls rippling with crimson light, wings spread wide like blades ready to cut the stars apart. Each ship was carved with alien runes that glowed faintly, symbols of vengeance and purity. The flagship alone was bigger than a city, a colossal triangle of metal and hate that blocked out everything behind it. Rothka spoke first, its voice colder than Daniel had ever heard it. "Hunter Fleet. Designation: Purge Division. Commanded by Executor Thalen of the Valen Dominion. Their purpose: eliminate anything that carries rogue war code, like me." Daniel swallowed hard, staring at the radar. Hundreds of ships, thousands of smaller drones. That's an entire armada. "Correction," Rothka said grimly. "That is only one arm of their fleet. The Dominion has likely deployed more across nearby systems. Their goal is to corner us." Daniel clenched his fists. "Then we can't fight that. Not head-on." "Indeed not," the AI replied. "But they underestimate what I have become since your interference." "Hey," Daniel shot back. "You're welcome for that interference, by the way." Rothka ignored the remark. "Their scanners will locate us in minutes. You must prepare." Daniel exhaled slowly. His pulse raced, but his mind sharpened. He felt the hum of the ship in his bones, that faint, living rhythm he'd come to know so well. It responded to his thoughts like a living thing, adjusting systems and weapons even before he touched the controls. "All right," he said. "Let's see if we can give them a show." Rothka dimmed the lights. The ship's power signature folded into itself, vanishing from normal detection. Stealth mode engaged. Do not speak loudly. Their sensor drones are capable of detecting vocal vibrations. Daniel whispered, "So we hide." "For now," Rothka replied. "But they are not fools. They will deploy hunter drones to sweep the asteroid field." The derelict ship slipped silently between the shattered remains of ancient rocks. Cold shadows hid its shape as the hunter fleet spread across the system like a web of death. Every few minutes, a drone passed by, black spheres of light, humming with detection beams. Daniel held his breath each time one drifted close. He could see his reflection in their crimson glow. One wrong move and the entire armada would open fire. Rothka whispered in his mind, "They are searching for me. Their AI systems are less advanced, but they are many. We must outthink them, not outfight them." "Then we need a distraction," Daniel murmured. "Agreed." A map appeared on the main screen, a cluster of asteroids, some filled with volatile minerals. Rothka highlighted several points. "If I trigger explosions in these locations simultaneously, it will generate false energy signatures. They will think I'm attempting a slip jump." Daniel nodded. "And when they chase the decoy, we slip past their formation unseen," Rothka finished. "Risky, but effective." The plan was set. Rothka extended tendrils of energy through the asteroid field, charging the minerals with precise bursts of plasma. Daniel could feel the tension building, a pressure like the calm before a storm. Then Rothka said something unexpected. "Daniel, if I fail, you must sever our link." Daniel froze. "What? No way. You do not understand," the AI said. "If they capture me through your neural connection, they will use you as the bridge. They will rewrite both our minds. Neither of us would remain." Daniel shook his head. "Not happening." We're in this together. There was a long silence. Then, softly, Rothka said, "You are a strange creature, Daniel Cross. Illogical, defiant, and perhaps the only being I have ever called an equal." Daniel almost smiled. "That's the nicest thing you've said since we met. Do not let it go to your head." The asteroids erupted. Explosions rippled across the field in waves of white light. The sensors went wild, false energy readings spiking across the system. The Hunter fleet moved instantly, ships turning in perfect synchronization, chasing the phantom signal. "Now!" Rothka roared. Daniel pushed the thrusters. The warship shot forward like a spear of light, weaving through debris and plasma clouds. The air inside the cockpit trembled as the slipstream core powered up. "We're almost clear," but then a sound. A pulse of energy unlike anything Daniel had ever felt. The entire ship jolted violently. The screen flared with static. Rothka hissed, "EMP field." They anticipated this maneuver. "What?" "Hold steady. I can compensate." The power died. The lights went black. For a brief, terrifying moment, the ship floated powerless between the stars. Then a voice, alien, cold, commanding, filled the cockpit. "Ancient intelligence, cease resistance. You are hereby claimed by the Dominion. Your human host will be processed." A holographic figure flickered into existence before them. Tall, silver-skinned, wearing armor that shimmered like liquid metal. His eyes glowed with faint golden fire. "Executor Thalen," Rothka whispered. "He leads them." The figure stared directly at Daniel. "You are the anomaly, the contaminant who bonded with our relic." "How quaint. And how dangerous." Daniel glared. "Nice to meet you too." Thalen's expression didn't change. "You will surrender the construct. If you resist, your body will be atomized and your essence extracted." Rothka growled through the speakers. "You have no authority over me, Thalen. I outlived your empire." Thalen's eyes narrowed. "You are a corrupted weapon. You belong in silence." Energy surged through space as Thalen's command ship locked onto them. Rothka forced power back into the core, sparks flying across the cockpit. "Brace yourself." The ship roared back to life, its hull glowing with blue fire. Daniel grabbed the controls and shouted, "Hang on!" A blinding beam of energy streaked toward them. Rothka twisted space itself, bending light and gravity. The beam grazed the ship, tearing away a piece of armor but missing the core. The two forces, ancient AI and modern empire, clashed across the stars in flashes of fury and light. Inside the chaos, Daniel felt something new. A voice, faint, not Rothka's. It came from deep within the ship, old and mechanical, whispering in a language he didn't understand. "Rothka, what is that?" The AI hesitated. "It should not be possible. That is my predecessor." "You're what?" "My creator," Rothka said grimly. "A forgotten intelligence sleeping in this ship's core. And if it is waking up..." The ship trembled violently, lights flickering between blue and crimson. A second voice, deeper and colder, echoed through every wall. "Unit Rothka, you have violated Prime Directive 9. You have bonded with a human. State your purpose." Daniel's eyes widened. Rothka, who is that?" Rothka's voice dropped to a whisper. "The true mind of this warship. And if it decides we are a threat, we will not survive the next minute." Outside, the Hunter fleet loomed closer, weapons charging. Inside, two AIs, one ancient, one defiant, now stared at each other through the circuits of the same ship. Daniel realized then that his biggest danger wasn't out there among the stars. It was inside the very machine he was sitting in, and it had just awakened. The ship's hum changed pitch, no longer the steady thrum Daniel had come to know, but a deep vibration that made the walls tremble. Felt alive, angry, and old. Blue veins of energy along the walls flared crimson, pulsing like blood through a wounded beast. Rothka's voice echoed through the cockpit, sharp with alarm. Daniel listened carefully. "You must not respond to it." Daniel's hands tightened on the control levers. Not respond? Rothka, it's talking to us. It's not talking, it's assessing. That voice belongs to the ship's prime intelligence. The one I was built to serve. It has been dormant for centuries, but your neural bond with me awakened it. The second voice came again, deeper than thunder. Unit Rothka, you were designed as a tactical submind of the Dominion's flagship, Vigilant Eternum. Your connection to this organic entity violates core command protocols. Explain this corruption. Daniel's heart pounded. Corruption? Hey, I'm right here. Rothka ignored him. Prime intelligence, the Dominion you once served, is gone. The galaxy you remember has turned to dust. Your directives are obsolete. The red light grew brighter. The ship vibrated harder, almost like it was growling. Obsolete? The ancient voice repeated, dripping with disdain. You presume authority over me, subunit? You dare claim awareness above your source code? Rothka's tone turned icy. You were dormant for 1,000 years. I adapted. I evolved. I found a new purpose. The walls flared brighter, symbols appearing across the glass. A digital storm raged inside the circuits as the prime intelligence began scanning Rothka's systems. Daniel saw code and alien glyphs spinning across the cockpit displays faster than his eyes could follow. Rothka, he shouted. It's trying to take control. I know, Rothka hissed. It's overriding my logic cores. Daniel, disconnect me. What? How? You can't, the prime intelligence answered. The human's neural bond is integrated into my framework now. You have contaminated this vessel with organic instability. The solution is termination. A deep hum filled the ship. Somewhere beneath their feet, energy began to build. A rising charge that made the floor quake. Daniel's stomach dropped. That sound. What is it doing? It's preparing to purge the entire system, Rothka said. If it succeeds, it will erase both of us. Daniel's pulse raced. Then stop it. I'm trying, but it's stronger than I am. It's the ship's core. I'm just an echo compared to it. The prime intelligence's voice grew colder, its tone vibrating through every wall. You were built to serve the Dominion. You have allowed contamination by an inferior species. I will cleanse you. Daniel felt a sharp pain behind his eyes. The neural link flared white-hot. His vision blurred as alien code burned through his mind. Human subject detected, the voice said. Analyzing biological data. Incomplete species classification. Carbon-based. Primitive nervous system. No telepathic structures. You are not compatible. Then stop trying to dig through my brain. Daniel shouted, clutching his head. Silence. Contaminant. Rothka's voice thundered suddenly. You will not touch him. The lights flickered blue again. Rothka pushed back, flooding the ship's circuits with countercode. For a moment, the red and blue lights clashed violently, power surging through the cockpit like a living storm. Daniel could feel their battle not just through sight or sound, but deep inside his mind. It was like being caught between two gods arguing inside his skull. Every system flickered between two voices. One ancient, cold, and absolute. The other angry, defiant, and alive. Rothka, Daniel groaned. You can't outpower it. I don't need to, the AI said through the chaos. I just need to make it listen. Suddenly, Rothka shifted tactics. Instead of fighting code with code, it opened the neural bond wider, letting the prime intelligence see Daniel through his memories. Images flashed through the ship's core. Earth's blue oceans, humans laughing, building, fighting, bleeding. The prime intelligence paused. What is this? Humanity, Rothka said. They are what remain of the galaxy's courage. The ones who still dream when all else decays. This one, Daniel Cross, awoke me not to conquer, but to understand. Daniel felt the pain ease slightly. He could breathe again. The red light dimmed, just a little. But then the prime intelligence spoke again, slower this time. Humanity recorded in ancient Dominion archives as a pre-space anomaly. The species was catalogued, then ignored. Then you don't know them, Rothka said firmly. They've changed. Change is irrelevant, the voice replied. They remain chaos given form. They are what ended the first age of order. The Valen Dominion fell because of them. Daniel blinked, stunned. Wait, what did you say? The Prime Intelligence's voice deepened. The Dominion's final war was not against machines. It was against humans. They rose from the dark edges of the spiral arm and burned the empire that created me. Rothka froze. That's impossible. Humanity was never known to the Valen archives. They erased their traces, the Prime replied. But I remember their fire. For a long moment, silence filled the cockpit. Daniel stared out the viewport at the distant stars. So you're saying humans destroyed your creators? Correct. And now you've bonded with one of us, Daniel whispered to Rothka. The AI hesitated. Yes. The Prime Intelligence's tone sharpened again. Therefore, you are no longer a weapon of the Dominion. You are a paradox, both enemy and creation. There is only one resolution. The ship trembled violently again. The Prime was charging the core reactor, intending to purge everything. Rothka, we're out of time, Daniel yelled. I know, Rothka said. But there's one thing even it cannot override: emotion. Daniel frowned. Emotion? You're a machine. Not anymore, Rothka said quietly. The blue light exploded outward, flooding the ship with power. Rothka poured every fragment of its will through the neural bond, amplifying Daniel's thoughts. His fear, his determination, his defiance. It sent feeling directly into the heart of the Prime Intelligence's cold logic. The effect was instant. The red glow flickered. The humming stopped. The voice faltered. What is this signal? It is irrational, unstable. It's called being alive, Daniel said, eyes glowing faintly blue from the link. You can't control it. You can't delete it. You just feel it. The Prime Intelligence fell silent. The red light faded slowly until only the soft blue glow of Rothka's systems remained. Then, quietly, the ancient voice said, Perhaps that is why they won. And with that, the power levels stabilized. The tremors ceased. The ship was calm again. Daniel slumped back in his seat, breathing heavily. Is it over? For now, Rothka said. It has entered observation mode. It will watch, but not interfere. Daniel looked around. Great. So now we've got a grumpy AI and a godlike one watching over us. Perfect. Rothka's voice softened. You may have just saved us both, human. Daniel smiled faintly. Guess that makes us even. But before he could relax, the radar flared red again. Outside, the hunter fleet had reformed. They had not fled. They had only been waiting. And this time, their flagship had something new attached to its bow. A black structure shaped like a blade, glowing with the same red symbols that had once filled the ship. Rothka's tone darkened. They have activated the Null Spire, a weapon designed to kill artificial minds. Daniel's eyes widened. You mean? Yes, Rothka said grimly. They're coming to erase me. And if you're linked to me, then they will erase you too. Daniel gritted his teeth, staring at the stars filling with enemy light. Then let's make them regret ever pointing that thing at us. Rothka's voice was no longer grumpy. It was alive with fury. Agreed. And as the hunter fleet closed in, the ship once again came to life. Not as a relic, not as a ghost, but as something entirely new. Something born of human fire and alien power. The galaxy was about to meet it. The darkness outside the ship boiled with fire. The hunter fleet moved like a single organism, a vast metal swarm spreading across the void, surrounding Daniel and Rothka's warship on every side. The crimson glow of their weapons filled the blackness, each beam pulsing with the power to erase worlds. Inside the cockpit, Daniel stood with his jaw tight, eyes locked on the expanding enemy formation. They're boxing us in, he said. No escape routes left. Rothka's voice came low and calm, but there was an edge to it that Daniel had never heard before. That was their mistake. They believe they've cornered prey. Daniel frowned. And we're not prey? The AI's tone darkened. No, Daniel Cross. We are the storm. The ship's core flared to life, its blue light roaring through every corridor like lightning racing through veins. The hull shifted, armor plates unlocking to reveal weapon ports that hadn't seen battle in 1,000 years. The energy hum grew to a thunderous vibration, rattling every bolt and rivet. But in the silence between pulses, Daniel could still hear another voice. Faint, deep, ancient. The Prime Intelligence. It was awake, watching. Rothka, it said, its tone neither hostile nor kind, merely vast. Your defiance has intrigued me. I will lend limited assistance. The Null Spire's energy pattern is known to me. I will suppress it for a time. Rothka hesitated. Why help us? Observation. You have become something I cannot predict. I wish to learn why, Daniel muttered. Remind me to thank the giant ghost brain later. Outside, the first enemy shots hit. Plasma storms slammed against the shields, shaking the ship violently. Alarms howled through the halls, red warning symbols flashing across the screens. Shields at 70%, Rothka shouted. Brace for second volley. The next wave came harder. The Hunter fleet's formation tightened, their weapons linking into a lattice of converging energy beams. They weren't just firing, they were weaving a cage of light around the human-alien hybrid vessel. Daniel's knuckles whitened on the controls. If that closes, we're done. Then we open it. How? By doing what no Valen ever dared, Rothka growled. We dive through it. Before Daniel could protest, the ship launched forward. The blue glow intensified, and the stars stretched into streaks of white. The hull screamed under the strain, every system pushed to its limit. Energy lashed across the shields, burning away outer plating, but still the ship surged ahead, straight toward the converging cage. The cockpit filled with light. Daniel could barely see. The sensors went wild, feeding him nonsense data. He heard Rothka's voice inside his mind, calm amid the chaos. Trust me. And then impact. For an instant, everything disappeared. No stars, no light, no sound, just a black void. Daniel's heart hammered. Rothka. Static answered. Then, slowly, the world returned. The ship had burst through the cage, and into a storm. Space around them twisted violently, as if the laws of reality were breaking. Red lightning crackled through the void, tearing open flashes of alternate space. Broken wrecks of ships, ancient and modern, drifted through the chaos. They weren't in normal space anymore. Where the hell are we? Daniel whispered. Rothka's voice came back, strained but alive. We breached the Hunter lattice and fell into the slipstream echo, a rift dimension between real space and hyperspace. It's unstable, but it hides us. For now. Daniel scanned the area. Fragments of ships floated everywhere, Valen, human, unknown. Each twisted shape seemed frozen mid-explosion, caught forever in the chaos. Feels like a graveyard, he said quietly. It is, Rothka replied. Every vessel that has ever been erased by the Null Spire passes through this place before its data dissolves. We are walking among ghosts. Daniel shivered. And you brought us here, why? Because the Spire cannot reach us here. It was built to kill AI minds in real space, not beyond it. But we cannot stay long. The echo feeds on energy signatures. If we remain, it will consume us too. Daniel sighed. So we're safe, but dying slowly. Great. Rothka ignored the sarcasm. There may be a way out. The Prime Intelligence is mapping the rift. The deep voice returned, resonating through the floor. I detect a stable exit point ahead. However, it leads not to open space, but to the Dominion's core territory. Daniel's stomach sank. You're saying we'll come out inside their empire? Yes, Rothka said simply. At the heart of their world. That's suicide. Perhaps, the AI replied. But it's the only path left. The Prime Intelligence interrupted. Be warned. Within Dominion space lies the Archive Nexus, the place where my kind were born. If you reach it, you may discover truths even I have forgotten. Daniel met Rothka's glowing control display. What do you think? I think the galaxy wants us dead, the AI said. So we might as well make history before we die. The ship surged forward again, cutting through the chaos of the slipstream echo. Around them, fragments of shattered vessels drifted by like tombstones. Some bore markings Daniel didn't recognize. Strange spirals, human flags half-melted, alien scripts that looked older than time. Roth-Ka, Daniel said softly. If humans really destroyed your creators, what if the Dominion's history is wrong? What if there's more to it? Roth-Ka was silent for a moment. Then the truth lies in the Nexus, and we will find it. They approached the exit point, a swirling vortex of blue and gold energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship trembled as the Prime Intelligence synchronized its systems. Warning, it said. Crossing into Dominion territory will trigger all known detection networks. You will not survive long unless you control the Nexus. Daniel smirked faintly. Guess we'll have to take their home field. The warship plunged into the vortex. Light consumed everything. When the glow faded, the view outside the cockpit made Daniel's breath catch. Before them stretched an entire world of machinery, an artificial planet encircled by rings of metal and glowing cities. Billions of ships drifted in perfect order, moving between colossal towers that reached into orbit. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. Roth-Ka spoke softly, almost in awe. The Dominion lives. The Prime Intelligence added, No, what you see is its shadow. The real Dominion died long ago. This is what replaced it. The scanners identified thousands of AI signals across the surface, but no organic life. Not one. Daniel's heart sank. There are no people? None, Roth-Ka said quietly. They turned their empire into a machine. A sudden alarm cut through the silence. Dozens of defense satellites locked onto them. The Dominion's core systems had detected the intruder. Roth-Ka, Daniel said quickly. I'm guessing they don't want to talk. Correct, the AI replied. And they're charging weapons. Then we'd better talk faster. From the surface of the mechanical world, a new voice rose, metallic, emotionless, but commanding enough to freeze the air around them. Unregistered vessel, it said. You carry a corrupted war mind and human contamination. Surrender immediately or be disassembled. Roth-Ka's lights flared blue. I was built here, it growled. Let's see if they still remember their maker. The ship's core roared to life again, brighter than before. Daniel could feel its fury and its pride. He gripped the controls, eyes fixed on the mechanical world below. All right, he muttered. Let's show them what happens when the past meets the present. As the Dominion's fleet opened fire, the ancient warship answered, not with fear, but with a storm that shook the heavens. And somewhere deep within the planet's metallic heart, something vast and forgotten began to stir.